Welcome to our family, friend, and neighbor child care immersive exhibit. I'm Melanie Latson, the Policy and Research Manager.
My name is Alicia Hardy, and I'm the Vice President of Policy and Research.
And I'm Kim Keating. I'm the Director of Research. At NBCDI, we believe that the first 8 years of a child's life are the most important and lay the foundation for the years that follow. What's important to us in telling the story of family, friend, and neighbor care providers is that part of our work in trying to change the systems is first changing the narratives. So we developed the Black Child Learning and Care environment safety criteria to actually explain the unique forms of safety that are significant for Black young children. It's discipline, learning, existential safety, the safety to just be and be themselves, and interpersonal safety. So forming relationships and trust, and that's all part of what they receive through their FFN care providers. Who the caregivers are. So they can be relatives, often are, grandparents, close friends, community members. The lady on the block who for generations has taken care of the neighborhood's children. We build on our ancestral principles of Sankofa, looking back to move forward. The systems that were in place prior to colonization were very much centered around community. You've heard the expression, it takes a village to raise the child, and that was the approach in pre-colonial Africa. The 1500s to the 1860s, here we have the point of rupture, where the transatlantic slave trade begins, and the beginning of the dehumanization of the Black Africans for what would be the next 400 years. One of the phrases that carries through to today is other mothering. We carry with us in our DNA that same sense of community that began back in Africa. A child whose parents, relatives had become separated from them were taken in by the new village, by those slaves who were there and raised as their own. We relied upon, for our survival, an expanded definition of family.
Despite family, friend, and neighbor care being the most common form of childcare in the United States and being the preferred form of childcare, in particular by Black families, this work and this narrative is undervalued and under-researched, especially when it comes to Black children and families. Although Black women were no longer enslaved or were relegated to roles that were previously assigned to them during their period of enslavement, this was often domestic work, such as cooks, nannies, housekeepers, as well as agricultural work. And Black women's value was seen in their productivity as opposed to their personhood. And so we see policies reflecting in relegating women to these positions, excluding them from policies meant to support the family, working long nights, long hours, being deprived of caring for their own children. And because Black women were in these roles, they often relied greatly on childcare outside of their home, making sure that their children were safe, loved, cared for, and affirmed with other Black women. False narratives about Black women, Black children, and Black family have been carefully crafted to shape policy. And so we see low quality, untrustworthy, desperate choice, unsafe, compared to the quality we know that family, friend, and neighbor care provides, where children are affirmed in their brilliance. It honors their identity. We see that this is an intentional choice instead of a desperate choice, made with careful consideration of a child's social, emotional, and developmental needs.
In the very present, we were able to provide the experience of Afrofuturist aspirations to 4 of our villages. Not only will you learn about the Afrofuturist activities that the participants were able to enjoy and experience, but you will also explore the living room space that symbolizes the home of a Black family, friend, and neighbor provider, a home filled with joy, love, and support. As we journey out of that living room space, we will enter a liberated future that we imagine for these providers and families that provide safety, care, and love. In this space, the visitors have the opportunity to create ancestor letters where they're writing to an ancestor that served as a family, friend, and neighbor provider, as well as letters to the future, where they are providing their hopes, dreams, and wishes for the Black babies of the future. Here at the National Black Child Development Institute, we provided this reimagining of the future to imagine a liberated future where Black family, friend, and neighbor providers and families are supported and loved in the very way that they deserve to be.